What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our team builder for week 5 of the NCL, taking on our good buddy Ben and the Tampa Bay Buizels. His team consists of Garchomp, Buzzwole, Aerodactyl, Heliolisk, Torkoal, Steelix, Mega Houndoom, Clefable, Slowking, Victreebel, and Gengar. Interestingly enough, Torkoal and Victreebel have not come to a single match this season. I am expecting both of them to maybe make an appearance. Priority-wise, he's got Mega Houndoom with Sucker Punch, Gengar with Sucker Punch, and I think Victreebel gets Sucker Punch too, maybe. Hazard setting in Garchomp with rocks, Aerodactyl with rocks, Torkoal with rocks, Steelix with rocks, and Clef with rocks, so lots of rock setters. Removal options in Aerodactyl with Defog and Torkoal with Rapid Spin, and 4 times weaknesses in regular Garchomp to Ice and Buzzwole to Flying. Buzzwole and Victreebel are kind of like on my list of probably not bringing them. I think Buzzwole is a little bit, like, a lot threatened by a strong flying type, and that's Tornadus Therian, as well as Whimsicott and Megalodios and Diancie. So I'm pretty hesitant to see Buzzwole coming this matchup. I think it matches up well against Conk and Diggersby and Pangoro, but it's threatened offensively by so much that it would have to be Scarf if it does show up to be effective. Which is why I don't really think it's going to come. Victreebel is another one I don't know if it'll come. I don't know, man. Like, Gengar is just a better poison type this matchup for him, and I just don't think he needs the speed in Sun. I don't think that that's a viable option for him. Excuse me. Everything else is on the table, although I'd say probably the Torkoal would be the least likely of the rest of them to show up. So pretty much everything else is going to come, I would think. I'm not entirely sold on what he's going to bring, to be honest with you. First up is Tentacruel on our side, though. Black Sludge with Rain Dish. I'm bringing Rain Dance to reverse his Sun Weather and get some big fat scalds off against his team, as well as recover more with my Rain Dish, of course. Slowking is a pretty free switch in every single time for him, and I debated between running Rain Dance and Toxic, and I ended up going with Rain Dance just because I think it's more reliable late game when I can set up the Rain on something like Torkoal and blow it back with a Scald, or blow something back with a Scald, you know? And I have other options for the Slowking potentially as well, so I don't think that it's going to be... I may regret saying this, right? But I prepped for the Slowking, and so hopefully it's not an issue. I'm running enough speed on the Tentacruel to outrun something. You know what it is? It's Buzzwole. I didn't write this down, but it's Buzzwole. So let me run Buzzwole. I don't have it written down, but whoops. Tenta outspeeds Buzzwole. Max speed Buzzwole seems to make sense to me here. If he brings Buzzwole, it's probably going to be close to max speed to outrun my Diggersby. And then Tentacruel's outspeeding that, so... Yeah, a little bit of Spadef as well, so that I can eat Mega Houndoom hits pretty safely. Mega Houndoom doesn't really... What happened to my HP stat? Huh? What my even HP stat? It's random. Mega Houndoom doesn't really get coverage to hit Tentacruel super effectively outside of like HP Electric. And if he's blowing a move slot on HP Electric, then I don't have to worry as much. I think he'd rather have the move. I think he'd rather have Taunt in that slot. He's been bringing it a lot, and I feel like he'd rather have Taunt for maybe Colberberry Bronzong, something along those lines. Diancie maybe, or HP Steel for the Diancie, because he has a hard time. Excuse me. He has a really hard time hitting the Diancie as well. Whimsicott's next, bringing a Life Orb Prankster set. I thought about bringing Chlorophyll, funnily enough, but I don't really think that Sun is that viable of a strategy against my team. Even though it boosts the Mega Houndoom, which is a massive threat against me, I don't think that he needs the Solar Power boost. Like, he can just roll with a Nasty Plot set and be fine, instead of letting himself get chipped and relying on Wish Pass from Clefable, which isn't consistent. And if he's Wish Passing with Clefable, then that means that Clefable is wasting a slot on Wish, which is better for the rest of my team. Moonblast is there to blow back the Garchomp, the Buzzwole, in theory the Mega Houndoom, but realistically it probably won't. Stun Spore to paralyze things like the Garchomp and the Gengar. Obviously, and the Aerodactyl. Prankster, Stun Spore is going to paralyze all those things. Cannot para the Mega Houndoom, and I'm going to be very cautious about the Dark typing as I try and go into this game. I've got Encore there to lock things like Garchomp into Swords Dance, Clefable into Calm Mind, Stored Power. That's something I would really want to Encore Clefable into, is something like that, and then threaten it out with something else, i.e. Diggersby. Enough speed on Whimsicott to outrun Mega Houndoom, and then I'm running a little bit of, or max special attack, a little bit of HP. Good lord, excuse me. Giga Drain gives me a ton of HP back against the Slowking as well. That's why I'm running Giga Drain with Life Orb. I'm bringing Assault Vest Pangoro. This can deal with the Gengar, kind of, and the Helios, kind of, and the Mega Houndoom, kind of. Obviously, it's not handling the Clefable because I'm 4 times weak to Moonblast. And I can kind of handle the Torkoal, although if I get burnt by Lava Plume or something, then I'm in a really bad spot. This definitely handles the special Victory Bell as well, and I can handle Slowking pretty easily. I don't think it gets Dazzling Gleam. I probably should double check that, but I don't think it does. Drain Punch for the recovery, and Drain Punch is like pretty spammable against a lot of threats, especially the Mega Houndoom. Because like Mega Houndoom, Heliolisk, and Steelix are all weak to Drain Punch, so it's pretty free. Gunk Shot is there for the Clefable, and I'm running enough speed to outrun a Clefable that's like creeping my creep. So I'm running like I just threw a bunch of speed in there to like go over Clefable. I don't know. Knockoff obviously will beat the Gengar, and that's kind of how I handle the Gengar. I should live a Dazzling Gleam because of the Assault Vest. I don't know. Like Gengar doesn't have that high special attack. I think it's 110, 115, something like that. So I should be able to live with the AV. Should. I don't know. And then Earthquake's there to break through the Torkoal a little bit better. It's kind of the only reason I have Earthquake on there. Thought about Ice Punch, but I really don't need Ice Punch necessarily. Although it would be beneficial with the Iron Fist to do a little bit more damage. But I thought that it would be better to break through Torkoal a little bit stronger. So max deck Adamant and then a ton of HP investment. It's just standard-ish Scarf Diggersby with Ice Punch for the Garchomp and the Aerodactyl. Knockoff for the Gengar, U-Turn for momentum, and then Earthquake is my only stab move. If Arrow doesn't come or Arrow is dead, Earthquake is very spammable against his team. Buzzwole is still a pretty free switch-in for him every time, so U-Turn is probably going to be my play, U-Turning into Whimsicott or Mega Latios most likely. And that's Diggersby. I'm running enough speed on the Diggersby for Aerodactyl, so I thought about trying to run enough speed to outspeed something else. Excuse me, but Victory Bell's not relevant, and Buzzwole already naturally outspeeds me. And Clefable's not relevant either, so I just went over the fastest thing that I could with the Scarf, which doesn't really do much for me because I can't run Adamant, which kind of sucks because, you know, Diggersby would really appreciate to be Adamant than Jolly. Mega Latios, Psychic, Dracometer, Toxic Roost. I'm just going to try and Toxic stall the Slowking if it switches in on me. That's my main strategy, and that's like the main way that I beat the Slowking is Toxic stalling it. I don't know, hopefully. Slowking shouldn't be able to beat me 1v1, but who knows. Psychic does a crap load to a lot of this team, and then Draco Meteor is a big nuke for mons like the Mega Houndoom switching in, and I don't know how reliable Clefable is as a switch into this. It really depends on if he opts to be physically defensive for mons like Pangoro and Conkeldurr, or opts to be specially defensive for Mega Latios in particular. And it'll sort of be a good way to scout that out, because I think Clefable is kind of the glue that brings his team together, hence why it was the Gloomon last season. So he basically has to choose, and I'll be able to figure out where he's going with that. I can't imagine that he'd be unaware this game. I have a good feeling that he would be a Magic Guard. So Toxic's not really, I'm not even going to bother trying to Toxic it, honestly, unless I see somehow that it's unaware. Oh my god. God damn. But I'm really hoping that Psychic will two-shot it, because in Mega form I gain a little bit of special attack, I think. So hopefully it does that. Last but not least is Entei, and I'm bringing a Vintay, I think? I can't actually remember. I never remember between Crow and Coon. But I'm bringing Lava Plume, Calm Mind, Rest, and Sleep Talk. It's the same as a Suicune set, but I'm Entei. So it's fire attacks instead of water, but it's the same burn chance as Scald. It's the same base power as Scald, and it's still stab like Scald. It's just coming off of, I think, slightly stronger special attack stat, and it's fire, so it's obviously resisted by a little bit more. His fire resists are like Slowking and Torkoal and Mega Houndoom and Garchomp. And Arrow. Garchomp and Arrow don't want to be burnt by Lava Plume, and so I figure I can set up Calm Minds on a lot of stuff, and then Rest Talk my way through Lava Pluming through his team. Funnily enough, I have a feeling that I can kind of beat Slowking 1v1 with this set if I get enough Calm Mind boosts, as long as he's not Calm Mind. And then at a certain point, I should just be able to 1v1 his team with a Calm Mind set, because the Mons that would resist me, or the Mons that would want to switch into Lava Plume, i.e. Torkoal and Houndoom, typically they run special attacking sets, which get walled by a Calm Mind Entei. So that's kind of the idea there. I'm running a little bit of speed, tiny bit of speed here. This is for max speed Clefable, so I'm outspeeding max speed Clefable with this tiny little bit of speed. As much HP as I can manage, and then I split the rest of my EVs between defense and special attack, just so I would get a little bit more special attack, but I also want to be able to live hits from the Buzzwole in particular, if it tries hitting me. Aerodactyl and Garchomp are a little bit harder to live hits from, but I'm hoping that this defensive investment does the trick there. So that is going to be it for the team. In terms of what I didn't bring, Tornadus Therian, I was highly considering it. I wasn't really sure what kind of set I would want to run. If I bring an AV set, then Heliolisk kind of sits on me, so it was really hard to decide there. Conkeldurr basically revenge kills Mega Houndoom every single time. But it was kind of too hard to bring against mons like Buzzwole, and I think he's going to over-prep for Conkeldurr. I know I actually really hate that excuse when people use it, because I think that it's a really stupid way to play the game. What's this noise? My headset's like creaking all over the place. I'm sorry. I'm going to double check this after I'm done recording to see what's going on here, because I don't know if you guys have been even hearing that noise, but it's been really obnoxious. Conk. Yeah, I think he's going to overprep for Conk a little bit, just because it's my biggest offensive threat on the team. But on that note, I didn't really have the coverage options for his whole team necessarily. Like, I want Ice Punch, I want Drain Punch, I want Mach Punch, I want Knock Off, and I want Poison Jab. So I'm hitting 5 moves, and I really need 4, obviously. It's not really enough to beat his team, so I'm opting not to bring Conkeldurr. Bronzong just loses to Mega Houndoom, and even if I brought a Heat-Proof set, then Garchomp beats me, so it's kind of like a lose-lose with Bronzong. I think he knows that, and then he's going to prep around me not bringing Bronzong, because it's just complete garbage against him. Rotom Frost I was considering bringing as a Garchomp answer-ish, but Aerodactyl beat it. It was also a good Slowking answer, but again, I feel like I kind of have Slowking dealt with well enough. And again, Rotom Frost is weak to both of his fire types, so really, probably wouldn't bring it. DNC actually looked pretty okay, but Steelix was the main problem to that, and I don't know how likely Steelix is to come. My Entei set will be able to absolutely obliterate the Steelix, and I'm really hoping, basically if I burn his physical attackers with the Entei, then once I get some Calm Minds up, it kind of just wins. Keep in mind, we are a league where you don't have to Mega first turn, so Mega Houndoom could stay in regular Houndoom form with Flash Fire the entire game if he wanted, and just counter my Entei that way. I don't think it's in his benefit to do that. I think he would rather Mega for the power boost, but it's definitely an option, and so that's like the main thing stopping this Entei set from just beating him. Yeah, so that's going to be for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys for the match.